Again, tonight we're going to provide you a little bit of information about our current safety and security program, and then some of the items that are proposed within the Millage proposal as well. First, to start off, again, everything this year has been driven by our strategic plan, our strategic planning process, and our learning environment facilities group kicked it off by saying that they expected us to align resources, facilities, and technology strategically and equitably across the district to maximize security and enhance the learning environment. Many of the things that are within the Millage proposal came out of that group and other groups within the strategic planning, but I just wanted to remind you that that was one of the things that was discussed, was maximizing security for our facilities, and also that we look at that in an equitable way so that all facilities have the same level of protection. So, again, tonight we're going to look at what are we doing now, and then what are we proposing in the future. So those are the two questions that I'm looking to answer for you. First of all, I wanted to talk to you about the staff that's tasked to work towards safety and security in the district. That would be myself and Eric Huber, our supervisor of safety and security, who's with us here tonight. Additionally, our student services team, they provide daily work. They work with our parents and our campuses on a lot of different issues related to student safety. And that staff is Darren Lays, who's actually out ill tonight, Dr. Michael Farrell, who's with us, and Teresa Dewey. And our groups work together on a regular basis on issues, on just working through different things. So it's a good team, and then of course we're backed up by our board of directors and our superintendent as well. I wanted to highlight Eric Huber, who's our supervisor, who's here with us tonight. He has a lot of experience in law enforcement. He's a certified officer with over 1,100 hours of training. He was previously a sergeant with Barling PD, so he's done the walk. He worked with their patrol division there. He's also part of an active shooter. He's an instructor, as well as emergency response team instructor. He's been trained by the FBI in a variety of different areas. He's recent past president in Arkansas Safe Schools, and then a member of the Child Abduction Response Team, which works in Crawford and Sebastian County for students that are missing. So he does great work, and I just wanted to acknowledge him and share some of his background too, because he's a great resource for us. So some of the things we're doing now, wanted to cover. So we do annual security checks of all of our Fort Smith schools and buildings. So that's a general walk through the building, checking things like fire extinguishers, also checking general safety issues, whether it be trip hazards, electrical issues, any kind of fire code problems, those kinds of things. So they walk through and do that on an annual basis. There's a team involving Mr. Huber that do that. Secondarily, they assist law enforcement with campus threats or threats related to student or staff. Unfortunately, that's gotten to be something that we deal with on a more regular basis than we'd like to. I know some of that has come up. You've seen some of that in media. But that's something, when those things happen, the team really kicks into gear, and there's a large amount of our district staff that are really dedicated working on those things minute by minute to establish the credibility of it, and then work through our response and what we need to do, and then to communicate with our public through that process. So, also, we have a district crisis team that meets monthly. That's a grouping of our administrative staff that works through different crisis issues. And then there's a campus crisis teams are required to meet quarterly. And so they have a dedicated team on their staff that work through those issues, verify that different drills are happening, and verify their crisis plan is up to date, and work through that. Additionally, anytime a new staff member, new principal comes into a campus, we cover the crisis plan with them, work through with them, make sure they're familiar with it as well. So there's no gap there. We do the mandatory campus drills for evacuation, fire, lockdown, and tornado each year as well. Next, we work through to locate lost and missing students in coordination with our local law enforcement. And it's not listed here, but we also just work through, there's day-to-day issues that happen with campuses where a student's not necessarily coded as lost or missing, but maybe they're not where they need to be. And so there's 3-4 hours where we're working with parents, working with campus staff to try to locate students. And so those kinds of things happen. Those of us that are parents know sometimes those things happen too, and we're diligent to work through those issues as well. We have a loss prevention committee that meets on a regular basis, and they study the different injury reports for staff and students on campuses, go through all of that, and then look if there's any improvements that need to be made, repairs that might need to be made, depending on what that might be, or if we need to study our own policy related to any of those kind of injuries or accidents that are happening on campuses so that we can limit those as much as possible. Also, our staff and substitutes are fingerprinted with the Arkansas State Police system. That checks those individuals against Arkansas state records and the FBI records to look for any criminal information. We already know we're unique and special in Fort Smith and that we have tornado shelters available at all of our elementary schools and junior highs, which is a great feature of the district. But additionally, we are looking at the high school campuses as part of the Millage process. Our regular annual expenditures, things that are just ongoing for the district, include camera upgrades and replacement. We have over 1,000 cameras in operation in the district, so as you can imagine, they break, or there's times that we need to replace those. There's servers related to that need to be replaced, so that's something that's an ongoing issue. Also, we have the Raptor sex offender scan that any of you that have visited a campus know that you go through that. With your license, they check that, and then there's a protocol if anything was to pop up as to how we would work with that person. So.